Welcome to season 4 of the Maryland Made Podcast. The Maryland Made Podcast provides timely, relevant, and practical information to empower student athletes to explore their potentials and pursue their passions. On today's episode, you will meet the Maryland Made team, hear about the journey of Maryland Made, and learn the structure of this year's podcast, starting with our fearless leader, Resa Lovelace.
All right, what's up, y'all? Resa Lovelace, currently serving as Assistant Athletic Director for Student Athlete Development. I am a proud graduate of Hampton University, where I received my master's degree from Old Dominion University, also a former student athlete. You'll never guess the sport, so I'll tell you. I was on the bowling team, and yes, it is a scholarship sport. So I'm all about that free education. In my role at the University of Maryland, I oversee this fabulous team that you're about to hear from. And we do everything from career readiness all the way up to identity development. I also serve on various committees across campus and assist where I can in the athletic department. Why did I join this team? I'm from College Park, so it was an easy sale for me to come back home. Literally grew up across the street from the campus. Also, when I joined this team in the fall of 2018, it was a brand new position, brand new build. Everything you're going to hear today was built from scratch. We continue to evolve today. And my favorite part of this job is that I get to wake up every day and help change people's lives. So I'm going to turn it over to our newest face on the team. That would be Nate McGill.
What's going on? Like Risa said, my name is Nate McGill. I am the program director for Student Athlete Career Development. I'm happy to be here, happy to serve, happy to meet everybody. Former student athlete myself. I graduated from Tennessee State University. Got a degree in master's, but then went ahead and got a master's in special education. Been working in a few different professions for a while, but got back into college athletics just because I wanted to help student athletes. And worked at numbers of universities, and I'm coming from Rice University in Houston, Texas. I joined the team mainly because I feel like it's a great fit, like we mentioned in the intro. #1 student athlete development program in the world. So just being able to learn a lot from Resa and the team, work with a phenomenal staff, but then really work with a great, diverse student athlete body as well. My favorite part of the role, I think really we're just seeing student athletes mature and learn and really find themselves throughout their time here at Maryland. And I really want to see how they, navigate life after leaving Maryland. So that's probably my favorite part of the role. Next, I'm gonna pass it to Sydnee Strong.
Well, thank you, Nate. Hi, everyone. I am Sydnee Strong. I am originally from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised. I got my degree, Bachelor's of Science in Sport Management from the University of Central Missouri, which is in Warrensburg, Missouri. So just, 45 minutes from Kansas City, not too far from home. I am as the community engagement intern. My role, I plan and execute events. I work a lot with the department and create initiatives to help us create that change. Why did I join Maryland? I asked that question to myself a lot. 16 hours away from home, all the way on the East Coast. I'm a Midwest girl. I really just wanted to take a risk. I wanted something different. And I will say, when I did my research on Maryland, I was able to feel that impact and change just with what they had at the time, because you will hear later on the evolution of the Maryland Made team. And my favorite part of the role is that impact. And so I will say, every day in our office, the students and the team are making an impact in one way, shape, or form. And now I will pass it to Sydnee.
Hi, so I'm Sydnee Anderson, the second Sydnee on this team. I'm from South Jersey, and I attended the first degree granting HBCU, Lincoln University, where I was a track and field athlete. I then went on to get my master's at Temple University in sport business, where I was also able to get some experience in compliance. I currently serve as the Big Ten Diversity Fellow here at Maryland Made. And I joined the UMD team because I wanted to do something where I could make a little bit more impact and interact with student athletes rather than compliance. So I'm definitely excited to be in this role. And my favorite part of the role is just being able to interact with student athletes and seeing them learn and grow from the different initiatives that we put on. And I'm going to hand it right over to Sophia.
Thanks, Sydnee Anderson. Y'all already know who it is. I don't have to introduce myself, but for those of you who don't, my name is Sophia. I serve as the coordinator for program and curriculum design on the Maryland Made team, going into year 2 with the staff, September 7th to be exact. So y'all go ahead and send me my happy year 1 gifts and cakes. But I am originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm actually from Atlanta. And that is important for me to say because some people, really like to question me on that. Sydnee Strong. But anyways, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I went and got my undergrad degree in kinesiology at the University of Michigan. It was a family school for me, so it was really cool for me to go there, somewhere where my grandfather and great uncle went. And then I went and got my master's in higher education at Harvard University. So if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see this really obnoxiously large degree behind me. And then after getting my degree at Harvard, I went and worked at the University of South Florida in student athlete development, and then came here to the University of Maryland about in the fall of 2021. So I already shared with you what my role is, and we'll dive in a little bit about what my role actually does and some of the work that I do in my position. But why did I join this team? I really joined this team initially for the staff because I knew the work the staff was doing and really just wanted to be a part of the really innovative and, honestly, in my opinion, very different work that most student athlete development departments aren't doing. And then I met the students on my interview for this job and absolutely was like, these are students I want to work with. They are different than any other student I've worked at any other institution. And so that was really special to me. And I would say that continues to be a favorite part of my job. But honestly, going above that is we're changing the narrative of how student athlete development is done for students. We are centering certain things in our work, like justice, like equity, really centering innovation in the way that we execute career readiness and leadership education. And the students see that, and I think that's having an impact on their lives and helping them go out to be change makers in their environments and their communities. So yes, happy to be with you all today. I'll hand it back over to Sydnee.
Yes, thank you. So now that you all know a little bit about us, it's time to dive right into the Maryland Made story. Resa, how would you say Maryland Made has evolved over the past year?
Yeah, we look drastically different than we looked a year ago, which I think is a testament to the evolution of the work that we're doing. So as most folks have seen, Walt has left us and is going off and doing some great things. Tim has also left us and has gone off to do some great things, which has opened up room to bring in Sydnee Anderson and Nate McGill. So I think the fact that we are able to continue to be trendsetters, able to get new, young, fresh talent that wants to come and work with us, I think has helped us. And I think we'll continue to think about how we can extend the work that we're doing kind of beyond the 3 pillars to continue to make an impact, not only on the students, but I think on the greater part of the campus, community, and our department. So I'm excited to kind of pull out the talents that the 2 new staff members have brought to us. The other thing I'll add that has evolved in the last year is our partnership and collaboration with Jane and Chris QBasic to help us launch the QBasic First Impact program, which I know Sophia will talk on in a little bit, but I think it's really important that we're, to my knowledge, the only athletic department that is centering a program for first generation students, for students in their second year, which most of us call this lost class, because we do center a lot of time on first years and third and fourth years and never really the second year experience. And so how do we continue to make sure they're not that lost class and that they are, exploring what does life look like if they don't pursue professional sports? So super excited about this being the first year of this cohort in this new model. And the last piece I'll add is just the evolution of our storytelling. I think we continue to hear from our colleagues across the country and our student athletes that we do a really great job of promoting our programs and telling that story. But since last fall, we've actually worked with our strategic communications unit to really think about how can we pump out content on a regular basis. So over the last couple of months, we've literally had an article hit umterps.com every week, and it's talking about the work that we're doing, the work that our students are doing, from a leadership, career, and identity perspective. For those who are listening to this podcast today, you will see last week we had the internship article jump out and talk about the great work that 13 students were able to do over the summer. And then we also talked about our career experiential learning trip up in New York City. So again, I think the more that we can tell our story, the potential that we can bring some alum back who want to be participants in all of the things that we have going on. Additionally, there may be some additional donors who want to help us continue to do these career explorational trips. Maybe I know Sophia wants to go to LA next summer. That's expensive, right? So how do we continue to tell that story to bring people back to the University of Maryland and give to our student athletes more than just building buildings? I think buildings get students here, but what is it that keeps them here? And I like to say that we're a part of that. So I'll hand it back over to you, Sydnee.
Perfect. Well, as Resa said, the work within Maryland Made aligns with our 3 pillars of career readiness, leadership education, and identity development. Nate, do you want to talk a little bit about career readiness?
Sure. So we can start off with the Barry and Mary Gossett Fellow Program. I think it's pretty well known, but 2-year program to help student athletes become more aware and develop skills to make them career ready, right? So it's really for mainly juniors or students with 3 semesters left of coursework. And then I'll say when they complete, they get $1,500, to go towards their postgraduate plan. So I think that's extremely cool opportunity for students to take advantage of. Like I said, I worked at different universities and they don't have stuff like this at all. So definitely take advantage of it if you fit into that category. Next, we'll talk about the internship academy. This is a pretty cool opportunity as well. It's an 8-week paid internship program over the summer for students, and they can work 15 to 20 hours around their athletic and academic schedules. And like Resa just mentioned, we just dropped an article on our social media platforms, and our students gave some testimonials on kind of what that opportunity did for them. Again, I think that's a phenomenal opportunity for students to take a part of as well. And like I said, it's definitely paid, so that's major. The experiential learning trips, that's a pretty cool thing. Like I said, they went up to New York this summer. And I think exposure is key, right? So having the opportunity to meet with different alumni at different panels, even just walking to certain buildings and headquarters that they were able to go to, and even team build within the student athletes from different sports. Like that stuff goes a long way. You never know who's in that cohort is going to be able to, promote you later in life or just be able to be a great friend in that. And then next will be the one-on-one coaching. And I'll let anybody else go back and talk about anything that I missed or just give some more context and insight. But obviously we'll have drop-in hours where you can come in, speak with myself or the rest of the team about how to make your LinkedIn better, maybe your resume, cover letter, anything that kind of you might have an issue with. So I'm sure those hours will be coming out soon and drop in anytime.
But before you pass it over, Nate, to the next pillar, I just want to really emphasize this piece about the Barry and Mary Gossett Fellows program. We have 100% placement rate in that program. Again, how many athletic departments are churning out that type of statistic, right? Every student who has graduated in our last 3 cohorts has been placed in a job or a graduate school program of their choice. And I say of their choice on purpose because, yeah, we can get you a job anywhere, but is it what you want? All of the students that have completed that program have gotten opportunities in the spaces that they want to be. And so I want us to continue to be leaders in that, because one of the things that you kind of hear across the country is, well, student athlete development should be collecting data on placement rates and all this other stuff. Yes, to a degree we could, but are we placing people to place them, or are we placing them in places that they want to be? And so I think we continue to be leaders thinking about placing them in places they want to be and not just placing them.
And the other thing I'll add before we hand it over to the next person is, if you didn't listen to the podcast episode from last week about the career experiential learning trip, definitely go give that a listen and listen to Kiera and Daryl talk about their experience there, because that trip is unlike anything that I have ever seen or heard of before. And I think the impact that it had on them is just gonna it's like, honestly, I keep calling it the trip that keeps on giving, because I think that we're just seeing such a high return on investment from that trip. So if you haven't listened to that podcast episode, go check it out.
That's all I have. So I'll pass it back to Sydnee.
Well, I'm actually going to hand it right to Sydnee Strong. And Could you just tell us a little bit about leadership education and some of the programming we have with that?
Yes. So I will start with the Maryland May Leadership Academy. The advisor is Resa Lovelace for that. But this is a program that had a 5-week session. And I will say a few of the topics were about the strength assessment, emotional intelligence, crucial conversations. And so those 3 sessions that I named were topics that the student athletes chose. And so I will just emphasize that we create opportunities for the student athletes. And so this year, when we do have this session, if you have any interested topics, please feel free to submit those, because this is so that you all can be better leaders in your teams. And then also when you all do graduate as well. And then the other program that we had was the Sophia's program. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. So we affectionately call it SLEP, which stands for the Student Leadership Education Program, or SLEP, although I don't think any of us have ever said that. I decided to say that today. But it was a 5-week program this summer that we ran with all of our executive boards. So Sydnee's going to dive into each of our leadership groups that we have, but really was an opportunity for them to grow and develop their leadership skills, bond as a group, set vision, set their goals, talk about how to build and design inclusive programs as to get them ready for the next academic year. So it was a mix of synchronous and asynchronous sessions to really meet the needs of our students and account for their summer schedules and just really give them time to not only bond within like their executive boards for the groups that they're leading, but also just look around and be like, okay, there's like 25 other student leaders on the Zoom call. And these are like the people that I'm working with to create change in this athletic department, and on this campus, in College Park, etc. So something that we're looking forward to taking all the feedback we got this year and make it even better for next year.
Thank you, Sophia. And in addition to SLP, I did get to facilitate, and that was a great experience. It was great to hear the outcome of the program that Sophia worked very hard for as well. And then our other leadership groups, we have SAC, which Resa and Sydnee Anderson are advisors of. SAC is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and they are the voice of the student athlete population. And I will say that if you haven't, please check out our social media accounts, because they have made a lot of progress and they are advocating for themselves. In addition, they do have 3 annual events. They have Terpsgiving, which usually happens around Thanksgiving, the months of October, November. They have Adopt a Family, which happens before they all go to winter break. And then in the spring, they have Fan Fest. So stay tuned for more about those initiatives as well. And then another leadership group we have is Pre-Health Terps, which Sophia is a part of. Did you want to dive in there, Sophia?
Sure thing, Sydnee Strong. So Pre-Health Terps is our leadership group for student athletes. I feel like people think you have to be like, I'm ready to go be a doctor to be in this group, but this is really for any student athlete who is remotely interested in anything in the healthcare field, whether that's anything from dietitian to being a doctor, being a physical therapist, etc. And we focus on career readiness, events, skills, exposure, experiences to get those student athletes ready to pursue careers in whatever healthcare field that is post-college.
Thank you, Sophia. And then our other student-led group we have is Worldwide Terps, which is a organization to have them as in the student athletes that come from international countries, have an organization to build that connection as they are in a different country. They want to build community and have those other opportunities as well. And Nate, did you want to talk about that, as you will be their advisor?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I just communicate with some of the leadership team there. So just in the process of transitioning and getting to know the team. But like Sydnee alluded to, like being an international student, they have a lot of different issues that might come up front. So this is a group where we can kind of support them and a safe haven for them to kind of, get support in the ways they needed to. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Can I also add a little context? I think one of the things that we've learned from a peer institution is to create a handbook for our international students. So I think, again, as we talk about the transition of just American students to college campuses, there's a larger learning curve for our international student population. So we've created a specific handbook just for them to talk about what is it like to be on this campus? What does the community look like? How do you get a driver's license if that's something you want? How do you work with the U.S. banking system? All of those things, which I think really help our international students as they come onto this campus.
And one thing that I'll add too is like these groups are truly student led. Like, yes, we're all advisors for these groups, but everything that these students do every year is truly from their own desires of their own, you know, how they want to build community or create change or advocate for those things to be different or better for them and their own student athlete experiences and those of their peers. I think that's really special. It's something that like we obviously as advisors really push them to, is like, this is not something that we want for y'all. Like, this is something that you all are doing to, you know, one, build your own leadership skills, but two, create a better legacy or create a legacy and leave things better than you found them for those who come after you.
Thank you for that, Sophia, Resa, and Nate. And then our last leadership group, which is a new addition, we are actually a department partner of this organization. It's Team Impact. And so we do have 5 Team Impact fellows, which are from different sports. So we have one from volleyball, football, 2 from football, 1 gymnastics, and 1 from field hockey. And so we have a couple that are in season now, and in their positions as fellows, they really do create that change and that impact. And so throughout campus, we have 5 current students that decide to create different events for these children who a lot of them are overcoming different challenges. And so they create impact games. And so like they have an awareness game coming up and they get different recognitions. And so these relationships are really important to them. And so stay on the lookout for more information about the awareness game for October 1st. And I'll pass it back over to Sydnee.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. But wait, there's more. We have our last pillar of identity development. And under that pillar falls the Maryland Made Mentor Program. This program is accepting applications now, if I might say. So if you haven't applied already, definitely apply to be a mentee or a mentor. This program is meant to facilitate strong and meaningful relationships between student athletes and UMD alumni, faculty and staff, and supporters. So you do not have to be an alumni to be a part of this program. If you want to give back to our student athletes, you're more than welcome to. And you can find that link in our bio on all of our platforms. Next, we have the Maryland Made podcast, which you are currently listening to. This airs every Monday, and it is available via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, you name it, YouTube. If you want to watch us, look at all of our lovely faces, you can. But our last piece of identity development is the Q Basic First Impact Program. Sophia, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So Resa alluded to it earlier in this episode, but it's really a program that's explicitly and specifically designed for second-year student athletes who are either first-generation students or exploring different career fields because they're undecided or undeclared majors. The program is really intentionally designed to build those foundational career skills and identity development skills to figure out like who you are, what you care about, what you like, what you're good at, and how can we help you find, and I say we because it's a partnership. It's like the students working alongside each other and me. So how do you find a career interest, a career field, a major that's going to set you up for success once post competition. And so it's a program that meets once a month. Right now it's a cohort of a variety of different sports, a variety of different backgrounds, international student athletes. And it is just been a really great learning experience. So connect with them on LinkedIn, because they started making their LinkedIn profiles last week. And so we're trying to build up their connections. But it's a really unique and special program, and we're really looking forward to seeing how all the students grow and develop throughout the year.
Perfect. Thanks for that overview, team. Maryland Mead's programming is definitely like no other, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Now I want to talk about the structure of this year's podcast. This season, our guests will continue to include current UMD student athletes, alumni, employers, and community stakeholders. However, we'll be adding a little twist to the season. Every episode will feature an aspect of advocacy, awareness, and/or athletics. We will allow students to voice their opinions and advocate for underrepresented groups. We will bring awareness to different cultures and identities during National Heritage and Health Awareness Months. And lastly, we will highlight the accomplishments of student athletes and staff here at UMD. I know I'm super excited for this season and the semester. What are some things that you all are excited for this season and/or the semester? Resa, let's start with you.
I'm excited to see what growth opportunities we can give to our students. I think just watching them on social media this summer, a lot of our students have started to develop a voice for themselves outside of athletics. So I'm excited to, one, give them this platform to continue to utilize their voice. The second piece is to kind of see where they want to go post Maryland. I think, they're often kind of caught up in the moment of being here and being a great athlete, but like, what is that next step for them? And I'm excited to see what this team can do. I think, again, we've had 2 new faces to this team, which brings in 2 different types of thought process and 2 different experiences. And so I think really exploring what we haven't explored in the past. And I don't know what that is, right? So I'm excited to see the changes. I'm excited to see y'all just interact with the students. Again, we've been in, I guess, feels like year 3 of COVID, and monkeypox is now here, and it just feels like one thing after another is coming. And so how do we continue to create community and build community for us and for our students, despite all of the things that are happening, probably due to climate change, I like to say. So that's just me a little bit. I'm excited about all of those things. Nate, as a newcomer, what are you excited about?
I'm excited about a few things, so I'll say big picture, whatever, but like, I'm just excited to be in the DMV area. It's totally different. Like I said, I'm from Cincinnati, but been living in South for a lot. So just getting that culture there is going to be amazing. I'm close to family, so I'm excited about that. But I'm also excited to get to know these student athletes. Like I said, it's a very diverse population, and it's getting to know their stories and just figuring out ways I can support them as much as possible. So I'm thinking about different program ideas. We have one coming up on September 13th. So mark your calendars. Information will come out soon on that program. So again, stay tuned. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to really building genuine relationships with the student athletes. Sydnee, Strong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, which one? I am the original to the team, guys.
Ooh,
So you
spicy.
know.
I gotta get it.
The shade begins now.
But back to a serious note, I'm just excited to see how we can build change and build community. I will say we did a great job last year, and that's just really what I'm excited about. The students have expressed a lot how they want to build this community amongst each other. And so I'm excited to see how us as a team can do that and us as a department can do that. So I'll pass it over to Sydnee Anderson.
I'm excited for everything. I mean, this experience just in general, the ability to leave impact every program that I've been involved in so far, or even planning, has definitely got me excited, and I want to continue to be involved. But yeah, just to see where this year takes us, because I know it's gonna be a ride, and we're gonna have a great time doing everything that we do together. So I'll pass it over to Sophia.
I'm excited for honestly just all the fun that we have. Like I feel like our team centers fun in our work. And that's why it doesn't really feel like a job sometimes. Besides when I have to answer emails and then it feels like a job. But so I'm just really excited for all the fun that we're gonna have. Like I feel like we're always playing music in our hallway. Like students are always stopping in our offices and we're laughing and having a good time and just kind of talking about life, you know? Like I think that's something that we all try to center is, you know, being our authentic selves at work so the students feel like they can be their authentic selves too. And I think that really shows in our relationships that we have with them and just like the work that we do too. So I'm excited to keep doing that. I think the other thing I'm really excited for is late night Qdoba. Shout out pre-health terp since we have Qdoba at every meeting. And so yeah, I'm just excited. I think too, like this is, you know, last year I was meeting people, I was figuring it out, and this year I feel like I have a better understanding of things. And so it's like I get to see students that I built relations with last year and just kind of check in on them. How was their summer? What are their plans for this year? And kind of be a little more intentional in helping them like with their growth too. So that's what I'm excited for this year.
Perfect. Well, our time here has come to an end. But for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. I will be sure to drop more information on all of us in the podcast notes, so you can connect with each of us on LinkedIn. If you want to learn more, about what we're doing, about us, feel free to reach out. Also, if you're not doing so already, be sure to follow Maryland Made on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, so you can tune into all of our amazing programming. Until next time, Maryland Made signing off.